What is up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of Chirping on Causeway, brought to you by Boston Sports Entertainment Network. If you haven't followed us yet on social media, find Boston Sports Entertainment Network at BSEN_617 on Twitter and Instagram. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Causeway Chirps. Hi, I'm Emily. You can find me on social media at HyperEmmy, and
I'm Liv, and you can find me on Twitter at Front Frederick.
Yes. If you also want to support the pod, we have really cool shirts and sweatshirts. Of course, today is not the day we're wearing one. But we have shirts and sweatshirts, which are available on our website, bsen617.square.site. I can add that in the comments. And we are doing a sale, I'm pretty sure still.
Holidays.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And all of the merch on the website is 25% off with the code XMISS. So definitely get your Bruins swag. Get your other sports swag. Yeah. We have podcasts that cover the Celtics, the Patriots, the Red Sox, and us. So we have swag for all of the above on the website.
All of the fam.
Yeah. Drop it in the comments real quick. We got a packed episode. We had 3 games this week, and we have a new friend coming to the Bruins.
Another former New Englander that Don wanted to scoop on up per usual.
Let's go there first. Let's go with our newest acquisition. He is not a call-up. He is a brand new signed player to the roster. Oliver Wahlstrom went on waivers with the Islanders last week, and we picked him up.
Yeah. I'm wondering where they're going to put him for the line. I'm assuming that they'll try him on I don't want to over guess, so I'm just gonna guess that they'll put him with Trenton Coyle for the first game he plays in.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't surprise me if mid game they try and put him up to the first or second line.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very interested to see how he fits into just the roster that we have. So for background on this guy, he has played 27 games so far this year with the Islanders, 2 games, 2 assists. He is -6, 9 penalty minutes so far. Overall career, 220 games played, 36 goals, 35 assists, -13. His contract is for $1 million. He was a 2018 first-round draft pick to the Islanders. So he's not a high-scoring guy. Statistically looking at, this is his 6th season in the NHL. When I was looking at his stats, he's not a high-scoring player.
Right.
Which, just doesn't seem to fit our needs in my eyes.
I'm wondering if it's because he's a righty. If they're just focusing on, we have so many lefties, I feel like, if you look down the roster.
That's a good point.
He's young, at least. So
yeah, he's only 24.
Yeah, that's a positive, because Don loves to get some older guys in there, which is necessary, but to a certain extent. So
yeah. He's from New England originally. Played Boston College 1 year. He was actually roommates with McLaughlin, which is funny.
Yeah.
The other fun fact was he's been number 26 on the Islanders for the last 5 years.
Oh, bummer.
He cannot be number 26 because that is McLaughlin's number. So he'll be switching to 71 with the Bruins. I think it's really funny. I was trying to find earlier what his number was in college, and then I think I got distracted.
Me.
Elite prospects. I think it's funny that his college roommate and him are essentially
that's pretty cool, actually. Imagine they probably wished that this would happen one day, and now here they are.
He said, I think it was today's clip from the Bruins. He was like, "Yeah, we played a little Fortnite together." I'm like,
oh. Good to have that bond. Like,
Boston College. 2018, 2019, he played with Boston College. I think he said he'd also played with Beecher during World Juniors.
okay.
Somebody else, he's played like here and there, like pickup with some people, but McLaughlin's the only one that he like knows. This is so annoying. Elite Prospects doesn't give their like numbers that year.
Let me see.
Now I'm like determined to figure this out. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Boston College men's hockey roster 2018. I need to know. Who had 26 this year? Somebody tell me.
When I Googled it, it said he wore number 18 when he was playing hockey at Boston College. But now let me see what...
This is what I find like so funny about hockey is like these guys are so particular about their numbers sometimes.
Right.
Oh, neither of them had 26. McLaughlin had 25. It was Julius Matila had number 26 that year.
Was he older?
And Joseph Wall was also on that team.
Was he really? I didn't know that. Another fun fact tonight. Huh. That was pretty...
Wallstrom was 18, yep.
Zaka.
Jack McBain was also on that team.
Pretty like poppin' roster a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like BC always has like...
Yeah.
I mean, it's BC.
Like,
I think you'll find that with any schools.
Providence even.
Yeah. I will be interested to see, though, like, how he fits into...
everyone.
Yeah.
I'm wondering
if he plays... He's on the road with them right now. Right. He's potentially expected to play tomorrow.
I hope so. I'm ready. Why not?
Why not? After the last week of absolute chaos. Why not?
Because they'll probably just sit or scratch, rather. They'll probably just scratch Johnson and McLaughlin, right? Unless they want to scratch Kepke or Beecher. I feel like they wouldn't really... Yeah, I mean, maybe. I feel like... I don't know. I'm tired of the Johnson experiment. We can.
So they have him listed as specifically a right wing, as opposed to like Beecher, Coyle, Frederick, Geeky, Johnson, Cassidy, Lindholm, McLaughlin, Zaka. They're all listed as centers on our roster that they then switch to the wings. They have him specifically listed as a right wing, but doesn't he typically also play center?
I'm not sure. I'm wondering if he can switch all around. Or if he could at least play both wings, maybe.
Maybe. I'll be very interested to see how that goes. That's the one thing I don't understand about rosters in general, or like how maybe the NHL has like your roster listings set up. And I guess it is because so many of these guys are so like flexible with their positions, but they list them as one thing on the website and then they're never
updated.
Like Frederick never plays center.
And some people are still like, put him back on center. I'm like, nope. We don't want that, actually. We really don't. We want him on the right wing, even though he's a lefty. It's fine. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense, but...
No. Well, and so for righties, we have Coyle, Geeky, Johnson, Kastelik, Lindholm, Braz, and Wallstrom are listed as the righties.
Okay.
I could see him with Coyle and Freddie though, and that's what I've seen a lot today or the last like 48 hours on Twitter too.
What's his? Do we have a height and weight on Oliver, real quick?
He is 6'2".
Okay.
200 pounds.
All right. Yeah. So that's like realistic.
About the same as Pasta. Pasta's 6 flat, 200.
Wait. So you said Zaka is lefty or righty? I'm sorry. Lefty?
Zaka's a lefty.
Okay. And Pasta?
Lefty.
Lefty. Okay. So what if they put him with those two, actually?
I could see that.
Maybe. I'll be curious to see where he... And
With Zaka on left or center?
Center.
Yeah.
And then Pasta and...
Yeah.
And I believe they were talking about him as the bumper on the second power play.
I saw that too.
I'm wondering how that'll go. Power play 2 is better. It's our best.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. Let's talk about our power plays.
Yeah.
We got 2 power play goals this week.
Yep.
Maybe 1. No, because Pasta's was power play, wasn't it?
I'll
I
check.
don't know anymore. There was at least 1. I know we for sure got 1.
Yeah. At least we got 1 in there.
You guys, these games have been crazy. It's really hard to keep track.
Yeah, with the late night starts, like
even like you guys should see the notes that we have for these games just because they were so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we finally, I mean, it's just weird that like we have so few power play goals consistently.
Right.
And like I feel like for the most part our penalty kills are like just surviving. Yeah. Like our special teams are not special teamsing.
We do have 2 power play goals, by the way. I was checking, but yeah, we need to fix it. Especially, I just don't understand why we can't just do a quick little switch and just have power play 2 be power play 1 and have them start it off really quickly. Because I think that the way I see it is power play 2 has a little bit more like energy and like want, if you will, when they're out there. Mm-hmm. So I think if power play 1 saw that and then had to like hop out there and the power play, I think it could be good for everyone. So that's just really frustrating right now. Is like,
well, and in my mind, it's like power play 2 has the younger and faster players. Yeah. Power play 1 is Marchie, Pasta, McAvoy, Zaka. Who's the other forward? Marchie, Pasta, Zaka, McAvoy. Oh wait, that's 4. Oh wait, no, hold on. Yeah, there should be a 5th.
The other one. Because Geeky's on the second. Hold on.
I said this. I don't know if I said this.
Lindholm.
Oh, Lindholm. I'm like, it's somebody that's like
he's invisible. Obvious. That's why we're forgetting. I'm sorry.
He is. I said this to, I don't know if it was Liv. I think I said this in our group chat earlier. The holidays are screwing with my brain, you guys. Yeah. I do not know what day it is. I didn't even watch Saturday's game until today. I have no idea what's happening. Christmas is next week. I'm not doing well.
Wicked fast. Happened really, really fast.
It's messing me up so bad. Anyway, yes, Lindholm is also on the first power play, which makes sense because he doesn't do much there. But that power play is like in my mind, like the more seasoned guys.
Right.
Typically what we've seen on power play 2 is Kastlick, Beach, Mason. It also keeps changing.
I think most recently, I think it was Mason, Trent, Geeky, Coyle, and maybe Braz. I
Oh
thought
yeah,
that
that sounds
was
right.
our last.
That sounds right. I feel like Power Play 2 keeps changing, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but then you're not making any changes to Power Play 1,
Which is more of
and
the issue. So it
that's the one that's not doing well. As
doesn't make
opposed to like you have to create some synergy with these younger guys and these more seasoned guys
yeah,
in my brain, because like one, PP1 isn't doing anything,
right.
but also like they are just not as fast. Like they don't move as fast as these younger guys. You have to start creating some synergy there though, because like we need the puck to move. It's just like
Right.
hanging out, being passed back and forth, and
Wait,
then we're icing it 17 times a power play, and we only have
wait,
like 2 shots on goal during our power play across 2 minutes.
yeah.
What?
It yeah, it's frustrating to watch. I mean, granted, at least we've gotten 2 in the past 3 games. However, I did not think we were going to lose those first 2 games like as badly as we did. Those were tough.
No. Let's go there.
Let's jump to the ugliness, I guess.
So, as a reminder from last week, we are in the midst of our 10-day, 5-game road trip across Canada and Seattle, which is essentially Canada. Same thing. We've had 3 games in the last week, and of course, they're all away games. We had Winnipeg last Tuesday night. Seattle was Thursday, and Vancouver was Saturday. We have 2 more games before they come home, and then I think we have 2 home games before Christmas.
Yeah.
December was like a really just jam-packed. Before we talk about this first game, I do just want to say this game was really interesting for so many reasons. But we are first in penalty minutes with 360 penalty minutes this season as of this morning. The second team closest to us is 337, and I think this game on Tuesday is a huge contributor to that.
360 sounds like so much right now.
That's so crazy. Across
30 what games?
30-something games? 32 games?
Yeah. Also, actually, quick pause. I'm going to this is totally off script, if you will. But also, I'd like to mention, because I completely forgot, there's the roster freeze from December 20th to the 27th, I believe. I think it's technically like midnight, or it's like 11:59 on the 19th or whatever. But also, this is off script. But if you haven't heard, Trent is in the trade talk. So I'm like, we just have to get to the 20th. But I am curious, since we do have Wallstrom now, like if we're going to try and make a move before Christmas. But I completely forgot about the freeze, and then I saw a tweet about it, and I was like, oh, I totally forgot about that. So I'm curious.
I feel like right now, I did see this makes a lot more sense. I thought it wasn't until like the 23rd, but that makes a lot of sense why we had some traction over the weekend with, I feel like there were a lot of trades. I feel like on the Bruins side, I potentially feel like it's really hard to make trades though when you're in the middle of a 5-game sprint away. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But also at the same time, maybe not, because it's not like they're talking to Trent. They're talking to his agent.
Right.
That would suck. For those of you who aren't aware, he's a UFA at the end of this year.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't make any moves before the freeze.
Yeah.
Like I don't think we will, since I just think we'll, they'll healthy scratch 2 people and just deal with whoever's in and out. But I'm excited to see, or not excited, but I'm curious to see what else will happen throughout the league though before the freeze. because I think who else? They were talking about Brandon Saad too, who was supposedly going to be moved soon. So I'm curious if, but also these are also okay. Say also again, Liv. These are just rumors too. So
Yes.
you never know. But I'm just curious what happens with.
Well, and it's also really interesting because I don't know that we'll have like any call ups anytime soon either. Or like anybody going down just because I feel like the Providence Bruins are doing really well. They've had what, 5 wins, 6 wins back to back?
I think they got 6 yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they're doing really well. So I don't know that we'll see a lot of switching between the leagues just because I feel like their GM doesn't always love to like mix it up when they're doing really well.
I think if anything in the coming days, all we would see is maybe McLaughlin being sent back down.
Yeah.
Since we have Wallstrom now, and then we would just be back to one forward having to be scratched.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I agree. I don't think I see any call-ups happening, which I guess I kind of agree with. I get it. There's such a short amount of time left before the little like holiday break, but I don't know. Yeah, and two, I don't know, the road trip kind of.
Yeah. We also haven't had any moves since November 29th. McLaughlin was our last move.
Wow. That long ago?
Mm-hmm. I was looking it up earlier today.
It doesn't even feel that long either.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's the last transaction we've had was that call up on the 29th.
And when was Maddie P sent down? Like middle of October?
Mm-hmm.
That's been a long time too. That's who I'd like to see play next, obviously.
November 11th, he was sent down. So he's been down for a month. Although, like, I saw an interview today that maybe his coach was saying he's doing really well and he's getting a lot of developmental time. Because the other thing we have to keep in mind is one, last year he was out for half the season, but he also, because of his age, was not allowed to get sent down to the AHL because he was too young and wouldn't have been sent to the AHL. He would have been sent to OHL?
Whatever. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
To the Gulf, whatever the name team was. Gulf something.
Yeah. So, like, I think that's something I just saw that today or yesterday. And I think that also sets that's a really good reminder about where our expectations should be for him. He definitely does still have some development that he does need to do, and I'm glad he's getting it. I think that's about Rempe too with the Rangers. Dude needs some time in the AHL. Like, he got a lot of media attention last year because he was a fighter and the Rangers wanted that and they needed that and blah, blah, blah. It gave him a lot of media attention, but he didn't have a lot of actual ice time with the Rangers last year. And when he's down with who's that? Wolfpack, I think is theirs. Yeah. In the AHL, he gets like ice time, like, because that's what the AHL is. It is a developmental league. And yes, some guys will spend their entire careers in the AHL and they're still a professional hockey player, right? Like, it's not necessarily that. But for these guys that have 2-way contracts, like, that is what that is for, is to grow some of these skills. They also don't play as many games. They only play on the weekends for the most part. They have practice every day so they can build those skills. Like, some players need that time. And I think in 2 years, I think we're going to see a completely different player with Maddie. And I look forward to that. But that bit of information really gave me some perspective about him. That, like, he didn't have a choice but to be in the NHL last year and then was injured for half of the year. So, like, he also just hasn't had a lot of good ice time to develop.
And I understand, too, a lot of the other argument is that like he should stay in Providence to get more time and like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also just so over the youth not being called up at this point.
Yeah.
It just, why not? It seems to work most of the time for other teams when they just go for their younger players, but
well, the part that frustrates me is like not necessarily that we're not calling people up, it's that we have people. I'm a disclaimer, these guys are professional hockey players. I sit here on a podcast and I work in nonprofit. Fully aware of where my skill set is.
Yeah.
But we have Tyler Johnson, who is not doing anything.
Right.
And like, what game was that we all were like, was it, might have been the Winnipeg game. I just sit him down and say hi. Hello.
I had high
How are
hopes
you?
for him.
Are we doing okay?
Yeah. I just thought he was.
Well, there was so much build up around him because he was hanging out in Boston and he wasn't signed, but he was practicing with the team and he was going to get signed and he was going to be a Bruin and we were just waiting for him. And it was because of the cap that we just had to wait until we could actually afford his contract. And he was going to be so great. He was practicing with the team. He was gelling with everybody. He was going to be our Lord and Savior. He was going to birth 15 golden babies. Like, I don't know. It was just like.
He was going to win us the cup.
Yes. And it just has not been any of that.
Yeah. And again, I'll give him a little benefit of the doubt with, the whole team hasn't been great so far, but.
True. Yeah.
But also.
9 games, 2 assists.
He's older. Like, I don't know. I just
say this and then tomorrow he's going to score 2 goals and have 2 assists. Prove me wrong.
As long as we're helping, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Winnipeg. We lost 1-8.
Yeah.
Only Pasta scored a goal. And I'm pretty sure it was a power play goal.
Which, I'll say at least Pasta seems to be coming back into his usual, Pasta way, if you will.
Yeah. We may have lost this game, friends, 1-8, but we were aggressive. We had 56 hits, and we had Boston Bruins Fight Club hanging out in the third period. And we're just going to show the video because there's no other way to explain.
Yeah, we'll do a little replay.
Let me just share this. Yeah, we're just going to play you. Boston Bruins Fight Club. Oh, let me turn on sound.
And Gustafson are going to fight. Frederick's a tough customer. And you know what? And he drops Gustafson. This is
that's one.
But you got to give a ton of credit. That's guts from David Gustafson, where Frederick knows exactly what he's doing. He's done this a lot, and now we're going to have one with Kastelik and Stanley.
In the same whistle.
You wondered when the score got to this, if this sort of thing would happen. Well, this is Boston Bruins hockey, right? There's nothing to gain here for Winnipeg, but you do have to make sure you stand up for yourself, stand up for your teammates. This is your building. David Gustafson pays a price, and then residually, Logan Stanley finally locks horns with Kastelik. I think Kastelik wanted this.
We'll go ahead a little bit.
And he's willing to do what hope he's okay. Yeah,
and here goes number 3.
This is going to be Lowry and Nikita Zadorov. These are 2 big boys.
Carlos says, I'm out.
Lowry's got his grip. Zadorov with a reach. Advantage, you'd have to think. They start to trade. This is a heavyweight tilt. Zadorov 6'6", 245. Adam Lowry is a big man.
Which, right off the bat, I just want to say I watched Adam Lowry's interview after the game, and he explained why him and Zadorov even went, just kind of finish it up, wrap it up type of thing. And I did gain a lot of respect for Lowry just because I do think it was a little necessary just to kind of stop the messiness, if you will, because clearly Winnipeg's going to beat us. We're
1-6 at that point.
Yeah, we're not disciplined at all at that point either. But also Kaslik and who did he go against? His name is literally on whoever he went against, though. They both got kicked out because they fought after the whistle when...
Yeah, it was in the same break that they fought, which means that they automatically are ejected.
Which I feel like that has to be new within the past.
Logan Stanley.
Stanley. Okay, I knew it was a S that ended with a Y, but I couldn't. And I will say also, people were upset that Trent one-punched that guy, but if you rewatch it, Gustafsson, like, asked for the fight.
Yeah.
Essentially, and that's his fault because he is himself and he knows he hasn't been into any fights in the NHL. So why would you go against someone like Trent Frederick, who has been in, I think that was his 38th in the NHL? So why would you...
People were like all up in arms about Freddie going after their like poor little defenseless dude. Like, dude had his gloves off. Like, he's ready.
They were acting like Trent was like trying to kill him. Yeah. And sorry, like he just punched him, I guess, in a bad spot, but he's a grown man. He's in a man's league. You know, I don't know what you really expect.
Well, in less than a minute prior to this, we had also had McAvoy had an illegal check to the head, and they had scored on that. On the Jets scored on their own power play, and then that was like the next play after that score was Boston Bruins Fight Club. But I also understand, like, as a player, it's 1-6. You are not generating anything. Like, you have to do something to leave your mark. I mean, but they did have 56 hits versus the Jets 35. We had 24 shots on goal. The Jets had 35. 37 penalty minutes at the end. We had 52% of face-offs. But we had, like, just in general, had a lot of penalties this game. We started it off with Freddie having an interference 25 seconds into the game. Pasta had high sticking in the second. And then the third, we had McAvoy's illegal check, all of the Fight Club, and then McAvoy also had an interference at the end, too. Like, a lot of hits, a lot of penalties, but 37 penalty minutes. That's insane.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Well, the other part of this entire game is that there were 8 shots let in. Swayman was in goal. This was on the bad side of things. This was his career high for goals let in. And Ty Anderson, who is with 98.5, tweeted that this is the first time a Bruins netminder has given up 8 goals in a single game since Dan Vladar in April 2021. This is just the 5th time this has happened since 2003.
Yeah.
But there was also no defense happening. There was nothing happening on that ice.
Yeah.
Like, only 24 shots on goal. 56 hits. Yes, we were aggressive. But if defense isn't showing up to help clear the puck, there were some of those goals that, like, yes, should have been saves. But also when you're it,
mm-hmm.
you cannot do all of that.
Right. Yeah. Our defense has been a little bit, I mean, nothing new here. It's been a little bit questionable for the past, I don't know, few seasons.
Oh no, what just happened? Oh.
Uh-oh.
I was just reading the tweet that we got tagged in.
Yeah. I was gonna bring that up.
Oh, let's go. Let's finish this week and then we'll go there. Oh,
let's go there because I have a lot to say.
That's funny. So then we traveled to Seattle on Thursday, and I think Liv and I both realistically knew that the Jets was going to be a loss. I think we both thought Seattle was going to be closer, though. I don't remember what we said last week, but we thought Seattle was potentially a loss, but definitely not a blowout. And it was another blowout.
Bad.
And it wasn't terrible until it was terrible. Like, we ended the first period 1-0 or 2-0. Marchie was the only one who scored, and it was a strange situation where we were either going to get a goal or get a penalty shot. Basically, from my understanding of this rule,
mm-hmm.
The goalie was on top of the puck, on top of the line, which is not allowed because then they can't see if it is or is not a goal. Therefore, we were getting a penalty shot if it was not a goal. Marchie took the penalty shot. He said as soon as they started discussing the situation, Sacco had told him he was going on for the penalty shot. And it was gorgeous. That was a beautiful little just like a like it just floated off of his stick in between just under and just it was
and thank God, since it was the only goal
the
whole game.
And like it looked like for a few minutes after that, like we were getting some traction. Like it looked like we were getting somewhere.
Yeah. I thought we were
and then again, nothing happened.
Yeah.
We had 34 shots on goal. 34 goals, I wish. 34 shots on goal. They had 21. We only had 23 hits this game. They had 26. We had a 56.8 face-off percentage. So we had the advantage there. We only had 2 penalties. Oh, yeah. Pasta got a penalty 16 seconds into the game for the second game in a row. We had a penalty in under a minute, which I wonder if there is like a cause and effect there of like they're starting the game on a penalty kill and then it just kind of like sets the tone off for them poorly. But that was a double minor for high sticking because he hit his tooth. Pretty sure he may have lost a tooth that night. The other player, not Pasta. And then Tyler Johnson got a tripping call also in the first 3 minutes in. So we started with basically the first 5 minutes we were on penalties. Like as soon as they came off, I think they scored on the second half of Pasta's what's it called? The second half of Pasta's penalty. And like basically the next play after we came off of that, we ended up going back on penalty kill for Tyler Johnson's penalty.
Again, Johnson just being so helpful to us.
Yeah.
So
I don't even have much to say about this game because they're like
there was nothing there.
There was nothing happening.
Also want to just shout out my friend Shan, who was here recently. You know Shan too?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I just feel so bad. They owed her a lot more than what they gave her on this trip here. I mean, I think she said she got 6 wins and 4 losses, but the losses were like, I mean, just double them. Because
she was at Winnipeg when they lost
Winnipeg
that bad.
And Seattle. Both of them.
I didn't realize she was in Seattle too.
Both of them. So, Shan, we just want to apologize on behalf of the Bruins. That was just horrific. That. Yeah.
But let's talk about the good one. We won against Vancouver.
Needed
5-1. And I think Liv and I both were rooting for this one to be a win.
Yeah, because of the last game, especially when they came here.
Yeah.
You know.
I think Sway was back in net. He had lost. He was the Winnipeg loss. Corpy had played against Seattle. So I think part of this is like Sway needed to redeem himself. The Bruins needed to redeem themselves after a 4-win game streak, 2-win loss streak, and the 2 wins were terrible. And then they're redeeming themselves against getting wiped by the former Bruins a few weeks ago, literally like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So I think Liv and I had both said that this was going to be a win.
Thank God.
And it was like across the board. We had the guys being aggressive. We had a lot of like points for some of these guys. I'll just go through it. So first period, we had the first goal coming from Marchie with assists from Lindholm and Pasta, and we had Geeky goal from Pasta and Zaka. Second period, we had Zaka from Pasta and Geeky. And McLaughlin got his first goal in the NHL this season with an assist from Peak. And then third period, we had Pasta from McAvoy and Zaka. At the end of the day, we had Pasta with 4 points, Zaka with 3 points, Geeky with 2 points, McLaughlin, Marchie, Lindholm, McAvoy, and Peak all with 1 point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people getting points in that game.
Thank God.
God bless America.
Yeah.
God bless Boston Bruins. I think we needed this game for so many reasons. We had 28 shots on goal versus their 20. They had more hits. They had 30 hits versus our 18. We only had 3 penalties, which one was Beecher for tripping, one was Zaka for high sticking. One was this really weird fight situation thing that happened with Marchand, where Quinn Hughes shoots the puck, and I think Marchie thought it was going to hit him because it zooms like here. So I think Marchie thought it was going to hit him. He went to have some words with Quinn, and JT Miller just
which, you know,
flies out of nowhere.
It was insane. I think it was just, I mean, Quinn Hughes is in a bubble though. He's in a bowl. I just think if you want to have a convo with them, wait until a commercial break. And I understand Marcia gets heated, gets very heated very quickly. But he's also like 10 years older than Quinn Hughes. So part of me was like, chill. Like big time chill. Because this is just like, because also the refs love to just ship him to the box anyways. So it's like you got to be a little extra careful. But it's also Brad Marchand, so what do we expect? So, you know, like
it's insane. It was so interesting to watch too. Like I said, I didn't watch that game Saturday night. I just watched it today. And the first time I saw it, I didn't see what happened. Like it didn't necessarily look to me like it was going to hit Brad.
Right.
Listen, I love Brad. He's my favorite player. I get it. But I also understand from their perspective, like he doesn't see distance. He just sees it shooting by his head. And it is like barely off the edge of his stick. So I can understand like he maybe felt it across his arm or whatever and thought it was closer.
Breeze. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also hockey.
Right.
Like, it's going to happen. There's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
But I think we looked a lot better. I think I agree with what you were saying earlier with Pasta's looking a lot better. We're looking more aggressive, which I think we need. Our puck control seems to be a little bit better when we're in zone, at least. I think we still have a little bit of our neutral zone that we need to clean up. But I think Tuesday and Thursday's games, we were just sloppy. We're sloppy everywhere. And I think this last game on Saturday, we definitely looked a little bit better.
We looked like us again, like the identity they say they want 24/7, but get 20% of the time.
Yeah. But I think it was a lot better. And I think going into these last few games on the road and then coming home and going straight into a game at home, we're potentially looking better.
Right.
We are currently 16-13-3. We're still third in the Atlantic.
Like, it could it could be worse, you know?
Yes. Well, let's see. Where is everybody else? So, Maple Leafs are in first in the Atlantic with 40 points. Panthers have 38. We have 35. Lightning are right behind us with 34. Senators are right behind them with 32. Ooh, but then when you look at the East in 2, 3, 4, 5. We're sixth currently in the Eastern Conference. Capitals have 44. The Devils have 43. Maple Leafs, Hurricanes have 39. Panthers, us. We're at 35.
35. Okay. Sorry. Whoopsies.
We're above the Flyers. We're above the Rangers. We're above the Penguins. We're above the Islanders, Blue Jackets, Red Wings, Sabres. Canadians only have 25, so I feel great about that.
Yeah. Also, like, what happened to the Rangers? Like, we could be that bad too, you know? They went from Eastern Conference Final to what they are right now. So at least we're not. Could be looking a bit worse.
Well, and we also have 32 games played currently. The Lightning are right behind us. They're 34 points, but they only have 28 games played.
Mm-hmm.
Capitals are first in Metro and Eastern Conference with 44 points, and they only have 29 games played. So I think over the next few weeks, we're also going to see the games played even out a little bit more, which potentially is going to rock some of this.
Right.
Like, we're already sitting on the edge. I also saw, speaking of Senators, the video of that really cool save that Omar had.
I know.
Over the weekend, and it was just...
Listen, if I could, I'll say something that'll get a lot of people upset here. But I'll say it. If I could switch Allmark and Swayman, I would. Sorry.
I agree.
My hot take of the evening. Gonna lose some followers for that. Sorry about it. But okay. I would. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, and I think like just on the personal level of those guys too, like Omar really wanted to be somewhere that he could settle the kids. Yeah. And he said this in interviews so many times. He really just wanted to be somewhere because of his kids. And he just wanted to get his kids settled and not have to move them a million times. And I think we've seen from these like players that settle in Boston for a long time that it is possible and it does happen, especially with our goalies. Like we had Rask and Tim Thomas for years. I don't even know how many years.
Yeah.
But they were both long-term guys. I mean, we have so many people that have been long-term players, but especially with our goalies, typically when we find goalies, we are apt to keep them. So it's really unfortunate that in this situation, it wasn't going to work out that way.
Right.
Ready to look at the week ahead? Or do you want to? No, let's talk about chaos, and then we'll talk about the week ahead.
Do you want to pull up the tweet?
Yeah.
Okay. because I have a lot to say about this.
So Liv and I just got tagged in a tweet.
Yeah. Thanks, Bobby. Thank you so much, Bobby. I'm so glad I saw that. No, I'm kidding.
That's so funny. While we're recording, I love it.
Yeah, and everyone can probably look back and see when I first read it because my face went probably white.
I saw the notification come up, and I was like, "Weird." And then I saw like your face drop and the notification come up, and I go, "Something just happened."
Can I start this one here?
Yeah. Get the tweet first.
So, okay. So
I wonder if this is a rumor boys thing though, or if this is like legit.
Right. I'm taking everything with a grain of salt, but also like backstory on myself. Every player that's been my favorite, mine is Bergie. Every favorite player I've ever had has always left. So I'm just so excited to lose another one, guys. I'm so excited. Basically, he's quoting a tweet that's saying a lot of people want Trent. There's a lot of interest in him, which I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like he's good, and that's why people want him. But I'm biased, whatever. So Mike, I don't know if it's Grinnell or Grinnell, so I apologize. But usually also he's a trustworthy insider.
Yeah, for those who don't know, he works for Barstool Sports. He's part of what is their podcast called? It's gone.
Honestly, I don't even know. So again, I apologize on that too.
It's not in my brain currently. But he does the podcast with Biz. You guys all know how I feel about Biz. But they work for Barstool. They also have this like subsect of what they do called the Rumor Boys because they are well connected. So sometimes things that they say are like part of this Rumor Boys situation where it's not necessarily true. It's just like he said, and then they say it. But typically, like, I feel like Mike doesn't necessarily say things unless he knows like there's some truth behind it when he says.
He doesn't want to get like an unnecessary rouse for no reason, per se. So he's saying here that the Bruins and Frederick are nowhere near contract yet. Like, and again, we don't know what will happen, but apparently they're not close right now, which I believe because Don, I have nothing nice to say about him, sorry. But I'm also confused because at the preseason press conference thing, someone asked specifically about Freddie, like, hey, he's going to be an unrestricted free agent after this season. What are you guys like doing? And he said it was a priority to get him signed. So, and, you know, it's not like, here's another thing, guys. Why do we want, you know, 6? We have to have a top 6.
Mm-hmm.
I understand this. But why do we want like 6 or 7 pastas on one team? Does no one understand that we don't need the whole roster to be insanely talented? I'll say it like that. Where they're going to put up 50 or 40 goals every year. We don't need, like, no team really needs that. Which, does every team want that? Probably, just to be the best in the league, understandably.
Yeah.
But also, it's just not how the league works. There's different levels to a player for a reason. So, I don't know.
We also just realistically can't afford that. Like,
right.
You can't afford to pay guys multi-million-dollar contracts every year with the way the NHL is set up with a cap. Listen, if we want to talk about baseball, then that's a whole other story. But we're talking about hockey, and we do have a cap that all teams have to abide by, or to have an entire team of pastas.
Right. Also, I want to make a tweet like this, but I can't tweet it because there's, you know, the word letter limit on Twitter. Here's what I just want to say. All the people that are so quick to be like, trade him, he's reached his ceiling, he's done, he's not going to be as good. I just want to offer you, maybe every guy is not great in a contract year because they're nervous. Have you guys never been nervous before? Has no one ever experienced pressure? And maybe not everyone is good under pressure. Crazy idea. Crazy thought. But I just think,
Yeah.
he's
Especially as an unrestricted free agent. I think if you're a restricted free agent, it's a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
Because like your team has to approve it or whatever the actual words are. But as an unrestricted free agent, you have zero guarantees for next year.
Right.
You could have something like Shattenkirk where nobody picks you up.
Which is just,
and then you retire.
Yeah, that's sad.
So much love to him.
Yeah, love you,
Happy retirement. Congratulations.
I wish he was still here, but
yes,
that's a different story. But I just don't like. I'll even say he's just a third or fourth liner. Why do we not want a solid guy that can be anywhere on the third or fourth line? However, then be put on power play or PK when necessary.
Yes.
Or be put on left, center, or right wing, even though, maybe he has a preference or maybe there's a better spot that he's in, right wing, preferred. But he just seems like a well-rounded player, and I'm a little biased. But I also think there's a lot of people that are just way too negative, way too quick to say, yeah, get him out of here. But then watch what happens if we do move him. He's going to be like incredible. And I'm going to say, oh, that could have been here.
This was what I was going to look up the other day. You keep going while I look. You just sparked something.
Do you want me to keep going, though? I feel like I shouldn't keep going. I feel like I, don't want to. No, but realistically, yeah, go ahead. Please go ahead. No, please go ahead so I can.
So the other thing that this brings me to think of is that Don Sweeney took over in 2015. And you can't tell me that there isn't a correlation between this heavy dose of roster mismanagement, player discontent, going through all of these coaches since 2015 when somebody took over. You can't tell me that this isn't all a direct correlation between all of that and us not having a successful Stanley Cup win.
Granted, a common denominator.
I know there are times that we have gotten close, right? Like, I'm not an idiot. I know that we have made playoffs. We have gotten to finals. Like, I'm not stupid. I pay attention. However, you can't tell me that there's not a direct correlation between us not finishing it every single time and having all of these contract mismanagement, player mismanagement, roster up and down chaos, coaching, just absolute craziness since this man took over. We've had 3 coaches in the last 10 years since he took over. Yeah. You can't tell me that there's not a direct correlation between all of this. That leads to things like Trent Frederick not getting a good contract, Jeremy Swayman not getting a good contract, Jake DeBrusk asking to get out of here. Yeah. Ullmark and Swayman saying, no, we both want to be full-time goalies. Having 8 players that were great players leave us this summer. You can't tell me that there's not a direct correlation between this.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah. It's, and everyone was like, yeah, we're going to take off after we get rid of Monty. He's the problem. We had, a quick little win streak from the initial change. And then we had 2 of probably the worst games of the season, arguably, with
for sure.
Sacco as our head coach.
For sure.
So what are we going to do then? Blame him now? No, it's Don. I'm so sorry. It's Don. And he just needs to be moved. Yeah. That's all I have to say.
Well, and at what point does ownership / the board / whoever makes that call, make that call.
Right.
You also have had Neely as our president since 2010.
Yeah.
And we've had one cup win since that. And like that was the year that he came in as president. So it's not like he like had an effect that caused us to win the Stanley Cup this year. He just happened to become president 2 months before that season started.
Yeah. He landed in the right season, basically.
Yeah. So you can't tell me that there's not some.
Yeah. There's a big connection there. And who knows when it'll be addressed? Probably never. Probably not until, I don't know. I don't know what the big, like, holdup is.
Because they played. I'll say it, whatever. Again, I'm a girl who has a podcast who works in nonprofit. I know nothing.
Yeah. We don't get paid for this.
I think a huge part of it is this Boston Bruins hockey culture that I think is so great. I think most of the time the Bruins hockey culture that we have is great. I think sometimes it is definitely detrimental though. I think that we have this thing where only people who understand Boston hockey can work for Boston hockey. Only people that have played for the Bruins can be a coach, can be a GM, can be a president. We can't have any outsiders that haven't been through our system work for us because they're not going to understand Bruins hockey. And I think it is so detrimental to what we do. And then you have guys that played for this team for so many years, make comments that they want to stay in the Boston community because they love Boston community and they love Boston hockey, but they will never be associated with this team anymore. There's something happening that causes that.
Right.
Like, at some point,
something's got, as Charlie McAvoy would say, the dam has got to break at some point. So,
and we ain't talking about the game, folks.
Yeah, we are not. Yeah, right. Not talking about the hockey games, but
no. And it's just, I think it's just frustrating because, like, Bruins hockey is not special. Nothing we do is crazy bananas. Nothing that's ever been seen before. We just have a system that we've always used that seems to work. We can plug players in easily. They can learn it easily. But I think you always hear it's a system that people have to learn. Great if it works for us, but it's not working for us. So at what point do you reanalyze the fact that it always has to be somebody that understands Bruins hockey? It doesn't. Like, maybe this is just because I work in nonprofit where I work in I work with DEI programming, right? I think it's very important to have DEI programming. Somebody's going to burn me at the stake for saying this. It's fine. I live in Florida. I get burned at the stake for saying this every day. It's so important to have diversity with ages, with different backgrounds, with different races, with different cultures, with different, if we're talking about hockey, that have different experiences playing, that have grown up in different places, that have played at different levels, that have played in different programs, that have experienced different types of junior hockey versus if they went to Worlds, if they got to play in the Olympics. I think you need all of that because that's how you create a well-rounded team. You don't want three nobody's going to like this at all. You don't want three forwards who all went to Boston College and they all played Boston College for 4 years and they all had the same coaches and they all grew up playing in Boston and all they know is Boston. That does not breed a successful program. That breeds robots, and robots don't win games. They stick within your tiny little program. They're going to do whatever you tell them, but they're not going to create plays. They're not going to make moves. They're not going to be the voice that says, hey, This isn't working. What if we did XYZ instead?
Yeah, a little change in some systems and stuff.
And if they don't have the experiences of working with other coaches in different programs, they're not going to know that there's a different way to do things. And they're going to be stuck in your little robotic program that obviously isn't working because we lost to Winnipeg 1-8.
I think a great example of that is just Power Play 1, how we don't make any changes. And any other team can watch any of our games, clip it, and then say, hey, we're going to defend this way and stop them every time they're on the power.
I have to see the puck go to Pasta on the left circle one more time on the power play in the exact spot at the top of the circle.
It is predictable.
He's got his statue ready, and he's good at every single power play, every single time. I know to stand between Pasta and the net every single time. I've never played hockey a day in my life. I know to stand there.
Even the goalie is probably just like ready. They know which position. They're like, I'm not even going to pretend to look at the distractions. I'm just going to wait until they pass it over there. Even though he does have a great shot.
He does. However,
it's not going to work every time because players are going to pick up on it. Yeah. But do we want to go to the week ahead? Even though it's short. We just have, 4 more games until we record next?
We only got 3. So we're recording
Sunday? Oh, right. Yeah, because we're going to record on Sunday. Because I will actually be at the game on December 23rd. I'm very excited about.
Yes. So we've got 3 games this week. And then heads up, Liv and I will be recording Sunday night at 7 instead of Monday because we have a Monday night game. And Liv and I don't believe in recording during games. And Liv will actually be at that game. So tomorrow we are at Calgary at 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday we are at Edmonton at 9 p.m. And then we get home Friday and Saturday we play against Buffalo at home at 7 p.m. Calgary.
Normal start again. Can't do the late ones.
Calgary is currently at 15-11-5. They're 4th in the Pacific.
They're right above us in the league standings as well.
I'm going to go.
I think we win.
I'm nervous.
I think
if we win, it's going to be tight.
4-3 overtime win.
Ooh.
For that one. Edmonton, we're going to lose 6-1, something like that.
Edmonton, we're going to lose. They're 18-10 too.
And it's just anytime we play Edmonton, I'm never optimistic.
No, we're going to lose, and it's going to be a big loss.
They're just a great team. It's nothing even against us. They're just a great team. So
my husband loves when we play Edmonton though because he loves to watch McDavid.
Him and 7 million other people in the world.
Like he will turn on Edmonton games if it's not at the same time as Bruins. I'm like, I understand, but I don't have gear for that team, so I'm not having. Right. Sabres are 11-16-4. They are 7.
We don't win this one.
If we don't, I swear to God, we should talk about at some point. I'm not prepped for this conversation today about how they thought their coach coming back was going to be their Lord and Savior, and they still suck.
Yes, we could do that next week. That'd be an interesting little topic.
Yeah. They thought it was going to change the world.
Yep.
It did not. Fun fact. So we both think Calgary is going to be a win. Liv saying overtime. I'm saying it's just going to be close. I'm going to pray. Yep. Oilers is going to be a big loss. And that will probably be Corpy. Nope, that'll be Sway. Corpy will be tomorrow. Sway will be Edmonton. Because they said they're going to keep the rotation on this trip.
And then I wouldn't be surprised if they do Corpy for Buffalo because Washington is like second or third in the league. Yeah. So I think
they're first. In the league. They might be, second. They're first in Metro and East.
Yeah. So Sway for that game for sure.
I think we're going to lose hard.
Probably. Tom Wilson will get like a hat trick just because I'm there. And I'll be like, awesome, thanks.
That's funny.
Yep.
Who? Oh, they have Dubois, Backstrom. Dylan Strome played for the Roadrunners too. I have assigned something. I think I have signed jersey by him.
Is Ovi back yet or no? Is he still?
I don't think so.
He's still just like practicing. Okay.
Yeah. TJ Oshie. Oh, he's on IR. I love TJ Oshie specifically because he played in the Olympics in 2014, and I watched him win the Olympics, and it was great, and I cried. And my boyfriend at the time thought it was crazy.
My mom and I like Oshie. He's just a good guy.
Yeah. Anything else for this week?
No.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at Front Frederick.
There's gonna be some spicy tweets coming later today, I feel like.
They're already up there. I was doing it mid-podcast. So
that's funny.
Go check out my Twitter.
That's funny. We'll retweet it. You can find me wherever your little heart desires at Hyper Emmy. You can find the podcast at Causeway Chirps on Twitter and Instagram. And you can find Boston Sports Entertainment Network at BSEN_617 on Twitter and Instagram. Again, check out our website. We have a sale going on right now. 25% off all merch if you use the code XMAS, XMAS. And we do have shirts and sweatshirts for the podcast. I definitely recommend getting. They're really cute and comfy. I wear my pucker around and find out hoodie all of the time. It's so soft.
I need one of those. They look comfy.
They're so good. We'll be back Sunday next week at 7.
Yes.
And then it'll be a game Christmas. And then next week is a weird week because Columbus is here and then we go to Columbus at the end of the week too.
Yeah.
And then the following week we'll be off for New Year's Eve.
Yep.
And like between Christmas and New Year, there's just a lot of things happening.
Quick little break for us.
Yeah. And then we'll be back.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Perfect.
All the chaos.
Yeah. Let's see what happens in the meantime.
Thanks for hanging out, friends. We hope to be back with Boston Bruins Fight Club soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Or maybe not, because they need to stay out of the box.
True.
Get some pucks on that.
Yeah.
All right, friends. We'll see you when you see ya.
Bye.
What happens after a Boston Bruin win as Jeremy Swayman and Lena Zolmark have their trademark celebration.